Welcome to the White Paper Podcast. It's Damilola Oluwatoyinbo here, the creator of White Paper Wisdom, White Paper Merch, White Paper Podcast, and all things white. Even if we're black people, come on, because God is a colorful God, isn't it? So all the full spectrum from black to white and everything in between. We got you. And in this episode, we've got an amazing person. If you've not been following us, this is a good time for you to follow, like, share, connect on all those platforms because we're getting feedback from all over the world. Like the other day, King Charles was like, hey, yo, man, what's up? You're killing it. Can you help me with some words to govern this place? Okay, this is people are laughing right now. It's going to happen, though, because, just think about it. White people in White House. Hey, don't leave me. How can you leave me? When God is with me. Anyway, so what we do on this podcast is basically we share workable wisdom without sounding like your chemistry professor or your village uncle. No disrespect, or your auntie that will say, go and wash that plate. Workable wisdom in a wise, warm, and witty way. So we're getting the brightest of minds who represent the wisdom that we're communicating and who have the ability to just deliver it in the chilled way. And today, we've got an incredible young man. Like, this guy is really amazing. I stumbled on his content about 2 years ago or so, 2 or 3 years ago, and he just has it in black and white, like telling the truth in black and white. So you can be all right. He is interesting, is creative, is a content creator, but is much more than a content creator. I consider him a thought leader as he shares insights in ways that people can really digest easily. And of course, great at editing, is all of that and more. We're going to get to know more about him. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up right now for the one and only Salem King. Come on. Welcome, Salem.
Thank you so much for having me. I was just listening to the intro, like, is that for me or for somebody else?
It's for you now, but there's a you in you.
Wow.
That is more than the you know.
Wow.
So if there's a you in you, does that make you double you?
Oh my God.
Double you.
W is the opposite of L, so win-win.
I see. So because you're W, you open windows for other people. Windows of opportunity, windows of wisdom, because W is wisdom.
White paper wisdom. That's also
cool stuff. Thank you so much for being here. I know you're a busy person. You have so many expressions and you're just a dynamic force. So I know that you're in high demand. So thank you for putting us in your schedule. It's going to be an enjoyable time, no doubt. But people are possibly wondering, okay, so all this hype about Salem this, Salem that.
Yeah.
Some people might even wonder, maybe you're the muse behind Jerusalem. Hey, that song, right? So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you have evolved and where you are.
Amazing. That's a question that's always difficult to answer, to be very honest. My name is Salem. I'm a content creator, social media strategist, among other things. I like to also describe myself as an accidental influencer.
Come on.
Because when I started making content, I wasn't really looking to become anything. I was just putting out, what I was learning and what I was having fun with. And then one time in 2019, I decided I'm going to put out 30 videos in 30 days.
Wow.
Before then, I used to put out videos, but it was just on my stories, I'll just share whatever it is I was learning, because I was always passionate about, transferring knowledge. That friend that, when they've learned something new, if you just mistakenly ask them a question, they will just put you in one corner and, I was that friend. So I decided to do that through videos. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know at the time that when you're consistent, that's a strategy for growth. I had no idea. I was just having fun. And my following literally went from like 1,500 to over 5,000 in that 1 month period.
Wow.
So I went from a regular Instagram user to somebody who was getting hundreds of comments, and all in a very short time. And then some months later, I just realized that, okay, I have actually entered influencer status. There's a fancy name for this thing. It's influencer.
Yeah.
It's content creator. And it was at that point I started to go learn, in a standardized way about content strategy, branding, all of that stuff. Because I didn't know all of that. I just enjoyed sharing knowledge via social media, and Yeah, it's been quite the journey from that time till now. There's been a whole lot of growth, but that's basically how my journey started.
That is a lovely journey. I know there's a lot of in-betweens, and pains and tears here and there.
Definitely.
But it's amazing to just see you growing like that. And I have, if you will, a bias for wisdom, right? So if I see somebody doing something wise, like this thing should be out there, let's get out there and all. So I remember when I said stumbling on your videos, must have been about 2 years ago. I think it was during the lockdown actually.
Yeah,
black and white, like fast cuts. You're making all the switches and all of that. So what inspired that style? Because you created a style. You owned it. It may have been inspired by something, but it's Salem because your story, your unique expression, all of that. How did that come about?
That's a great question that I love to answer. I love that you ask because when I first started making videos, I would set up my phone on a tripod and, I'd write a script and try to memorize the script and then pour, and record, and it just never worked. Wow. So I would do that up to like 20 times and just get it wrong. Wow. I would forget the lines, I would mix it up, take the second paragraph to the
this
first.
This was 2020, right?
No, this was earlier. This is like 2018.
Oh, wow.
Right?
So you're already doing things 20 times when it was just 18. So you're 2 steps ahead of the rest.
So like as early as 2018, I was trying all of this. And then one day I'm like, okay, maybe let me try something. What if rather than trying to memorize the whole script, sit in front of my camera and say the whole thing like a normal person, how about I record each line separately and then stitch it together in editing? I didn't know how it was going to come out. I'm just like, let me try this. And then I tried it. It didn't sound natural. It didn't sound like me, but it sounded like something else was fresh, right? So that's how I started making my videos. I would write a script word for word. Wow. And I literally have the script in front of me like this, and I'll check every line. I would record, stop.
Really?
Check the next line, record, stop. And then in editing, I'll bring everything together. And then it created this sort of really smooth and fresh feel to the video. Because on a normal day, I'm really introverted, right? And I don't know how to, just memorize and make videos like a normal person. So when I tell content creators now that, you don't have to know what you're doing. Just find a way. They feel like it's something easy for you to say. You're an influencer. But honestly, when I first started out, even till now, I don't know how to memorize a script. And I still make my videos the same way. I still record each line individually and then I put it together. And people are like, wow, I love this edit. The jump cuts. I'm like, no, it's because I had a deficiency.
Serious. So out of deficiency, something good came out.
Exactly. That's basically what it was, honestly.
Wow. Yeah. So you said you're introverted, like introvert. Have you done your introduction? And this is going to be an overt introduction. Talking about introduction, let's talk about your introduction to Lagos. There was a time you were always yapping Lagos people. Any small thing. Lagos is this one. Lagos is that one. Lagos, da. Now you're in Lagos. I mean, so what info? Let's settle this beef once and for all. Yeah. Abuja or Lagos?
No,
be careful what you say because you pack your load right now.
let me settle it. Lagos.
It's like Nigerian jollof rice and Ghanaian jollof rice.
The battle never ends. Lagos. But let's end it like this. Lagos is a necessary evil for career advancement. Lagosians. Can you hear? But yeah, the way I thought about it was, Lagos is the entertainment capital of Nigeria. So if you're working in media and fashion and TV and stuff like that, it makes sense to be here. And I was here every other month. Okay. And, I decided to just move here. The funny thing is, at the time when I was making all those videos talking about Lagos, I was already living here. And I was making all those videos out of my culture shocks. I see. The life is very different. Yeah, it was coming from, I was just making a joke about everything, but it was my reality and it was staggering. But it's been a learning curve. I found a way to make it, make the life work for me. And the reason why I came was to access stuff that I probably wouldn't be able to access while in Abuja. And that has been working very well so far. Okay, great stuff. Now let's talk about, sorry about that. You just coughed. So you like to speak off the cuff. Oh my gosh.
Or are you connected to Kiss Daniels and this
Oh no!
this cough song? Anyway, I know that, laughter is like medicine because you just laughed now. So that's like cough syrup.
Am I going to make it through this episode?
Yeah, high five. Now, let's talk about what makes you Salem, because I love the backstory. Anybody that you see on stage, they have a backstage experience. So what's some of the things that went into making you this? Because when you share your content, right, it's not just the vibes, it's not just the colors, the fast cuts and all. There's sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. And the sense is delivered in an easy to digest way.
Yeah.
So how has that worked out? How do you become that person? Was it like you had like a very firm upbringing and you're like, okay, I have this wisdom. Let me try to help people absorb it? Or maybe were your parents like very chill people as well? So just give us a bit of an insight into that.
Yeah. So one interesting thing I've learned on my journey is that it takes a whole lot of effort to make anything that looks effortless.
Come on.
Anything that feels effortless, any piece of content that you consume that makes you feel like, wow, this person, I think in my mind,
wow,
a lot of intention had gone into that. And that's something that I learned from my entire journey. I'll give a lot of credit to my parents.
Awesome.
The first time I started buying my own books, I think I was like 21 years old. Because every book I wanted to read, my dad already had. So I would just steal his books. And so even when I didn't understand what I was reading, I had read a lot of books. I'd read a lot of John Maxwell. I'd read a lot of Benny Hinn. I'd read so many different books from different fields just because my dad had them. And when you were bored, he would direct you to the library. So I learned a lot of that growing up, just reading. And when it came time for me to do something as an escape from work, because when I started making content, I was working in real estate. When the time came to do something as an escape from work, the closest thing I could think of that gave me joy was teaching, was sharing whatever it is I had learned.
I see.
From the books I had read, from all of that. So a part of it is my upbringing, to be very honest. What I was exposed to because of my dad.
Yeah.
Because of my parents. My dad also always encouraged us asking questions. My dad was the kind of person who would be excited if you came to ask him something like, who created God?
His energy, like, just start flowing like,
yeah, it used to make him happy. He'd be so glad that you're asking him questions like that. And we used to have very deep conversations. And he was happy saying, oh, I don't know, I'll check that out. I'll research and then I'll get back to you on this. So that was something that was very interesting for me. And when I now started creating content, which is me becoming my own person, I learned that to communicate with somebody, you need to speak to them in a way that makes them think about themselves, right? Not about you. And a lot of what was out there, people were not thinking about their listeners. They were thinking about the message they wanted to pass across.
Come on.
Right? So when I wanted to make content, I'm like, how do I make content that I would listen to?
Come on.
How do I say these important things in a way that if someone said it, I would actually stop and listen? And I realized the way to do that is to present it in a way that people see themselves in your story. In a way that it is relatable, in a way that it is easily applicable, that people just think about. It's like white paper wisdom. Like people think about it, people experience it, and immediately they see the place where they can apply it in real life. And I knew that this was working because I would make certain pieces of content and someone would be like, so I wanted to do this and I heard your voice in my head. Mission accomplished.
You had entered, you had bought real estate.
Exactly. Emotional real estate.
Come on.
To present things in a way that would be memorable. Because I learned from all the books I had read, sermons, podcasts, I was more likely to remember if it was memorable.
Come on. That's awesome.
And then another thing that I was very intentional about was making content that was portable. So I was always thinking, I strongly do not believe that whatever is valuable has to take a lot of time.
Right?
I don't believe that there's some people that believe that if a class is going to be valuable, it has to be 2 hours. I don't believe that. I am actually the kind of person where I would go to an event where I've been invited to speak and they say you have 20 minutes and I'm done in 18 minutes.
Serious.
And I'll calm down because I'm done. I said everything
I need to go and learn from you.
And I'm just done because I have more to say, but you gave me 20 minutes, so I'm going to work with that. And so rather than sometimes when I have a big idea I want to communicate and I feel like, this is going to take 10 minutes, I decide, okay, I'm going to do, rather than do a 10-minute post, I'm going to do 10 1-minute posts.
Come on.
Right? So a lot of times when I experience older people, no shade, but like when I experience older people, there's a client I was working with and she was like, she was writing and she's like, your generation, you don't read. Anything I put there, anytime I post and it's long, you don't read it. I'm like, man, the people you want to reach, you need to meet them where they are.
Yeah.
It's true that you want them to read this long thing and you don't want to feel like you've succumbed to the general culture of consuming short form everything.
Yeah.
But you need to meet them where they are. And then some of them, after giving them that short piece and then presenting enough relatability in that short piece, they want more. Yeah. Right? And then you can give them more. But saying, I'm not going to do like
I'm not going to bend.
I'm not going to bend.
You have to step up.
Exactly.
This makes a lot of sense. You know why? That's actually part of why we're doing White Paper Podcast, because we're doing the white paper thing. And I always have long form content.
Yeah.
Now, here's the interesting things. Many people say to me, what you write there, I don't always read it though, but the paper, I always share it. So they'll just take the picture with the paper and then share that. They may not always read that. So one of the things we're also starting apart from the podcast is 1 minute white paper wisdom. Amazing. So it's going to be the visual form. Yeah. And it's going to be the content. So I've done about 700 of this now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I have enough
That's
content.
Insane.
And it's all original and unique. Yeah. Right. So we're going to take that and then make it 1 minute videos. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, right? Definitely. I believe that we should use everything that is within our, control that is given to us. We can meet people on so many different levels. You can meet them with stuff that they can consume in 5 seconds. You can meet them with stuff that they can consume in 1 hour. And then now there's text content. Yeah. I recently started writing on LinkedIn and somebody told me, I read this post faster than I would consume your video. I was offended because I like making videos. So I'm like, I might joke to you. Why would you? But it is what it is. There's people
that the person captures.
There are people in my audience who prefer to read. And if I'm not writing, I'm leaving those people. They don't want to see my face, but they would gladly read something I write. So it's the same way. Some people might not be on Instagram, but they want to listen to podcasts when they work out. They want to listen to podcasts when they take a walk. In the morning, and this just makes it easy for you to
listen to this podcast as they're jogging. And
exactly, do you get? And they can't be looking at Instagram when they're jogging, but they can listen to a podcast while they're jogging. So I believe repurposing is such a beautiful thing.
Right, beautiful. Yeah. That's amazing. This is going somewhere. We're still going to go deeper. Before we go to the next segment, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So you said people actually listen to you gladly. Mm-hmm. Right. Are you connected to Malcolm Gladwell?
Well, I've read a couple of his books. Yeah. So
that's why you have the tip.
I'm a bit of an outlier. Yeah.
A bit of an outlier, but you're sitting in. But that makes you dynamic because even though you're sitting in, you're outlying. Do you tell the truth at all?
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's go. Now, could you tell us 3 words that describe Salem?
That's interesting. Eccentric.
1. That's big grammar for what?
That's big grammar for weird, basically.
Well, if we rearrange weird, that makes you wired. Right, so a cable that amplifies voices of wisdom.
Wow.
All right.
So I would say weird. I would say non-conformist.
Okay.
People use the word non-conformist as like, oh, I'm a rebel. No, mine is just like, I don't know how to be anything else. What else? Grateful.
Grateful.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I really, like, I really wake up every morning. I'm just like, wow, this is my life.
That's great.
Yeah.
You're grateful, and it's very clear that you're not a grateful.
Oh my God.
You're not a fool at all. You're actually full of grace. So great.
Okay.
All right, great. Now, you wear black almost all the time. There's a piece of black on you almost all the time. What's that about? I don't think you're the black sheep of your family. So.
I'm not. It's just ease, to be honest. Colors are a bit distracting for me sometimes. So I just wear the same thing all the time, so that when I wake up in the morning, I don't really need to worry about what I'm going to wear. So I just have a bunch of black t-shirts and a bunch of white t-shirts, and I just wake up in the morning and throw that on.
Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg thing, blue jeans, turtleneck, gray shirt, turtleneck.
I don't know if it's a Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg thing, because they're like techies and I'm a normal guy.
Why are you eccentric? All right, guys. I hope you're enjoying WhitePaper Podcast. Please share this with your friends, your loved ones, whatever the platform you're on. Ensure that you're sharing this wisdom and making it viral. I want to make wisdom viral. I want wisdom to be the MO of as many people as possible. Millions of people across the world are making dumb decisions every day. But if they just have some insights, in an easy way, like some of the things you've shared already, it will help them train their minds, develop a stronger capacity, a better character, and of course, more fruits in the work that they do. So we're going to be back for more enriching convos. But for now, pay attention to your screen so we can take some important information from our sponsors and supporters.
My name is Melanie Shola. Before today, I would say I'm a journalist. For what I've learned today, I'm saying I'm a media entrepreneur. And it's been a mind-blowing session in here today. So it's sort of like taking somebody and helping them by themselves literally walk through rebirthing, right? Or re-understanding or re-engineering themselves. And I guess one of the most important things that have happened to me is to understand the value of being a multi-potentialite and how that it can be such a huge blessing if properly ordered. And so I've learned to literally just systemize, right, the way I approach what I do. Now, Genius X, I guess this is about the biggest offer in here today. And for me, it's the idea that I get to get this at a very mouth-watering rate. It was just like when we got the offer to come and have this session with PDAMs, and you could literally tell that I guess I'm just not paying anything for this. And then we got in here, voila, it was mind-blowing. So all of these are the rate I had to pay, and of course I've had to make my initial payment today because I just can't let this go. And when it goes out there, yes, it becomes bigger, and what would be my gain for having this opportunity ahead of that time? So yes, I'm looking forward to an opportunity to be able to unpack all of this, right, in what I believe I have going on with me, and the ability to be able to then make money. And in essence, it's not as if money is the biggest value I can place on all of this, but actually being able to sell, knowing and bearing in mind that I'm able to maximize what this person is all about. I look forward to Genius X. Thank you.
So guys, WhitePaper Podcast is proudly supported by Global Greatness, a community of leaders, influencers, and business persons who are making a big difference in the world. And of course, Genius X, right, which is our community of brilliant minds transforming the world with their gifts, ideas, and creativity in a profitable and sustainable way. And of course, Dream Stream, the organization that causes your dream to stream, and Dream Spice, where your dreams come alive. So if you would like to support the work that we do, the good work that we do, if you'd like to be a part of this in partnerships and donations and other collaboration opportunities, please get in touch with us. Follow the instruction on the screen or contact +234 908 and 2234567. All right, for sake of those who are listening and not watching. And we're going to do greater things together. This is worth supporting because somebody out there is your client and your customer, and they're only going to connect with you when you help us. spread wisdom on the WhitePaper Podcast. All right, that said, we're going to dive into the next segment of conversations. I'm a big believer that everything profitable that is done has a dimension of wisdom that people don't see. And I love what you said earlier, that everything that seems effortless requires a lot of effort.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, to do, to deliver, to craft, to create. So what are some of the wisest decisions you have made in your life? I know that's like that's like saying, give us your biography in 1 minute. You said it doesn't have to be long for it to be valuable. So you've made certain wise decisions. So will you guide us through some of them?
Moving to Lagos.
The so-called necessary evil.
I mean, that because when you want to make a decision like that, you get a lot of pushback from people that care about you. Like, you know, why would you do something like that? But it was a wise decision. I'm glad I took the leap. I think another wise decision I made was leaving my 9 to 5.
Wow. So the real estate company?
Yes, the real estate company that I was at in 2019. I mean, I'm grateful for the time I spent there and, you know, the building I got, the building up I got. But, you know, I found out that it was time for me to leave. And to be very honest, I was not 100% prepared. Yeah.
You took the leap of
Yeah, it was a leap. I don't know that it was of faith. It was a leap, though. You know, it was me saying, this is the life I want.
Come on.
How do I move toward this? You know, and I started taking those steps like over a period of like a couple of months. I didn't exactly get to the goal that made me feel the utmost amount of security in making the decision, but I still made the decision anyway, and I'm so glad I did. I mean, being a content creator full-time in Nigeria is still pretty rare. It's still, there's not a lot of people to look up to say, okay, this is the path. You know, this is the way to go. There's no school. There's no, you know, there's nothing. You're literally just winging until you find your way. But I'm so glad I made that decision. It's been really tough sometimes walking along the path of, you know, walking along, you know, a path that isn't popular. One where, you know, you tell people ask you, what do you do? You're like, I'm a content creator. And they're like, yeah, but like, where's your office? What's your real job?
What's your real job? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but what's your real job?
You know, it's like, this is my real job. And then you look like you don't know what you're doing with your life until it takes a while for people to, you know, see that, oh, okay. Oh, you were on TV. Okay.
It looks, well, at least we can identify with TV. So
yeah.
if you're on TV, you must be doing something.
I remember one time I was going to be, I think it was the Future Awards or something. And I was telling my dad, oh, I got an invite. He's like, as what? And I couldn't even be mad because I knew that he, you know, legitimately didn't understand. Like, what are they inviting you as? What are you contributing to the ecosystem of this economy? You know, so yeah, that's another wise decision I made. I think one more, I'll just add one more. One more wise decision I made, or which I make almost every day, is start my day with a long walk.
Wow.
So that's just me time. You know, I won't talk to anybody when I'm taking a walk. I won't pick phone calls or respond to messages. It's just a time I used to center myself. I don't successfully take a walk every single day, but like I try to do it, you know, at least 4 or 5 times a week. And that's something that has gone a long way.
Wow. So you do that for your... Please land.
Yeah, for my mental health, for my emotional well-being in general, and maybe even my physical health.
How long are those walks?
It depends, 1 to 2 hours.
Wow. Every day.
This morning I did 30 minutes because I had to be out earlier.
So that's the secret of the wisdom. as you're walking, like things just will drop.
Yeah.
So, but what's that process like? I'm a little curious. Do you like listen to podcasts? Are you meditating? Are you praying? Is it prayer walk? Is it just a combination of different?
Yeah, things? It depends. Sometimes it's a totally quiet walk. I'll leave my phone at home, you know, and just not listen to anything. But most times it's a podcast or the audiobook I'm currently listening to, or a summary of an audiobook. Or sometimes I'm just praying. I'm listening to worship music. I'm talking to God and asking him questions, because a lot of my conversations, because like a lot of questions, you know, and just taking my life in, like when I'm walking, I think it also increases or improves my sense of gratitude.
I see.
Because every time I'm walking, I'm just like, this is a luxury, There's people who live here and cannot walk at this time because they have to be on the way to work.
Yeah.
Or they have to, different things. It just helps me really take my life in, improves my sense of gratitude, which leads to even more gratitude. One of the words I used to describe myself is grateful. And I don't say that as a boast. I say it as, this is something that really helps me. It helps me be really healthy. Every time I'm jealous of someone, for example, I know that there's something wrong with my sense of gratitude. And then I just check that. Yeah. So those walks it's a way for me to just recenter myself every day, because we need that.
Yeah, that's good. And I'm happy you spoke about the whole being jealous and envious stuff. You did a video about it a while ago.
Yeah.
And you're speaking about that. So can you talk about that? That like there's a whole lot of people looking at what others are doing and feeling less than.
Yeah.
And I think I don't want to call it a disease. Let me say temptation.
Yeah.
A growing temptation, especially amongst, Gen Z.
Yeah.
It happens to, I think, all of mankind, really. But I think what makes it worse, as it were, in this generation is you can see your guy.
Awareness.
Yeah. Because see, back then, like when I was a teenager, for goodness sakes, I'm not saying for months.
Yeah.
Like it's when school resumes or something.
Yeah.
So if you're taller and traveled abroad, whatever it was,
much,
But now you're seeing that your guy, you get just finished NYSC. In fact, the NYSC you still did not see. Maybe you finish NYSC before the person, whatever. And then now the guy is in a G-Wagon, or something. So whilst the person's in the G-Wagon, you want to get your tongue to wagon.
Oh my
since
God.
we can't afford the wagon. By the way, I finally discovered why there's a lot of wildness on Twitter. Should I tell you why? There's a lot of wildness on Twitter. Like people are just like all of that.
It's crazy.
Because on Twitter, people drag people a lot. So when you drag on, like fire from people's mouths and all of that. So anyway, so you can
a lot of wildness.
Exactly. But I want to fire on, even though you're not a dragon. And I don't want us to drag on and on.
Oh my gosh.
So talk about the envy, jealousy dynamic and how people can walk through that process and get value.
Yeah. It's definitely a pandemic in our generation, and there's so many things that make it worse because our awareness fuels discontentment, right? Like
please say that louder. That wisdom just dropped. Loud.
Awareness fuels discontentment, so you could be feeling fine. Like I've had that happen to me too. Like you wake up, you're feeling good, and then you open Instagram, and then there's somebody who's your age doing great things, and your day is ruined. And it's just like, what am I doing with my life? And your whole day is just downhill from there. So we all need to understand. We all need to be intentional about what we take in. And how we protect ourselves from awareness. I don't feel like our brain was designed to take in as much information as we take in.
So you think so too, right?
I think so too.
Because I've said that. I said it's not. I don't think it's that by natural design for us not to have filters and to just keep having.
It's too much. Like you're on social media. You have thousands of followers. I don't think anybody is supposed to have that many friends. You don't have the capacity to service that many relationships. It's something will suffer.
Yes.
There's no. If imagine having 200 close friends, how many birthdays will you attend? How many weddings? How many? I believe that there's a limited amount of people that we're supposed to pour ourselves like out into in the form of relationships and all of that. So social media just gives us this whole world where it's just everything. So I believe first of all, everyone has to be intentional about how much of that they're taking in and how they're using it. I believe social media is like water. Every time somebody says social media is evil, I stop them and say, no, it's not. It's like water. It's like a pool. You swim in a pool, you have a good time, use water to cook, but you could also drown. So, it was some water that gave me relief from a cough now, but like in the wrong in the wrong context, that water and the cough can be a very terrible combination, you know. So I believe that first, everyone should know that I have a responsibility to protect myself.
Yeah.
First of all, nobody else has that responsibility. And then next, we should all be very mindful of our gratitude meter. Like I said, every time I feel jealous, I understand that it's an emotion, right? It's realistic, it's unavoidable. I will feel it. The question is, what do you do with that feeling? You know, me, I always like just say a small prayer, like, God, help me, I beg, help your boy. Because me, I felt it so many times now that I now know that this thing is not going anywhere. You know, it's unrealistic to want it to disappear, but I can walk through it. I can be happy for this person. And even when I'm not happy yet, I can act like it until I am happy.
Into it.
Into be happy.
Like training your soul. So one of the things I read a while ago, and something that I learned a long time ago, is that become of the student of the success you're tempted to be envious of.
Wow.
Yeah. So you become a student, you become a supporter of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you study it, it becomes like research. It becomes like a laboratory. So other people's successes can become your lab.
Yeah.
Right. And then you find the key elements that make that work. But not just being a student, because that's sort of like exploitative or parasitic.
Yeah.
Then you become a supporter of it.
Yeah.
Right. Without being contrived.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's something that every healthy human being is going to be tempted to feel, was how you handle it.
Yeah.
When you spoke about something earlier, you said we should protect ourselves. Right. So basically, you're saying we should use mental contraceptives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. Well, yeah, smooth. It took me a minute.
Yeah. Oh, I won't pick on that.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. You guys didn't warn me. But yeah, I mean, I think is speaking of time. Speaking of time, I think it's such an interesting concept because sometimes the people we're jealous of have just spent more time on the thing than we have.
That's good.
You know, and I always say that we shouldn't compare ourselves to people we should be learning from.
Yeah.
Which is something that happens all the time. Sometimes there's so, just like you said, be the student, there's so much to learn from this person that you cannot learn if you're jealous. You will miss it. You don't have the capacity. You don't have the humility.
Yeah.
You know, there's something Andy Stanley says that always stands out to me. He says, the wise know what they don't know. And they are not ashamed to learn from those who do know. So, like, you know, we always talk about wisdom in terms of people that know a lot.
Yeah.
But the thing about wise people is they also know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And they're very willing to like sit at the feet of people who do know to get, you know, so jealousy is a whole thing, but you know, it's a learning curve, learning to navigate it, learning to free yourself from it. And just like you said, you know, before you ruined everything, protecting yourself, you know, it could mean also taking breaks. Just like you said, we're not wired to be able to be taking all that information.
Yeah.
So sometimes we should take a step back, you know, just the way we work, and your work pays your bills, but you go and leave.
Come on. That's
right?
good.
It's the same way that, okay, social media, we should take a break sometimes, delete the apps, you know, just stay away for a while, come back later. Yeah.
All right. So guys, that's important. Sometimes take a step back instead of taking an elevator forward.
That's not what I said, but I mean.
All right, good stuff. I usually put it this way. The more you know that you don't know there is to know.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about setbacks. Some dumb decisions. Right? We can use any other fancy word. Learning experiences, growth opportunities. Can you share one or two or three? Stuff that you did like, hey, Salem, no trial.
Yeah, they're blowing my money, man. Like,
You did a post about a while ago about finances and maybe sometime last year.
yeah. I can't remember all the posts
like
I've
it sort
made.
of came from a place. I feel
I think
like,
all my content really comes from a place. Like I'm mostly talking to myself,
good.
you know, and expressing that and helping people in the process. But it's always a note to self first. And before something makes it to my video, sometimes it's been in my notes for years. You know, something I told myself in 2017.
Cool.
And then now I'm like, oh, let me tell other people. Yeah. So the first time I decided that I wanted to go and do content creation full time was one time when I did a class.
Insta Booster Academy.
That time it wasn't even Insta Booster Academy. It didn't have a name. It was just random. I was just some months into content creation, and so many people were asking me, how do you make your videos? Like, you say so much in such a short time. It's so educative, blah, blah, blah. Teach us, you know. And then I did a class. It was 5,000 naira. And I said I'll take 50 people. And then I put it out, the link, 50 people was full in like 24 hours. Wow. And there were still more people. They're like, oh, we want to join the class. Because me, I said, I don't know when I'll do class again. No. So we want to join. So I opened another group of 50 and they filled up again. Wow. So in like 48 hours,
500,000.
That was the most money I'd ever had in my account at the same time.
It took you 2 days.
Yeah. So that was the thing. That was like the tipping point. I mean, like, this job. Let me start planning my exit. But yeah, that money, I still don't know what I did with it. That money gone with the wind. It was like it went straight to my brain. You know?
That's why I say that money can be like a drug. Because like when you smoke, right, or you take in drugs, it goes straight to your brain. I don't have experience, beg.
Yeah, I have experience with the money. I felt like, you know, I just felt like I could. I felt like you can't finish. You get like 500,000. Oh my God. You know, so yeah, that was one dumb thing I did. Because the next 500k didn't come very easily at all. You know, it took a while, like many days of supper and I didn't have a job again.
Wow.
So
stepped out fully too.
Yeah. It took a while after, you know, that period. And then like 3 months later, I left the job. You know, I went out. But yeah, that's one thing I regret. Wow. You know, that could have given me a very strong foundation. But like I wasn't really thinking about foundations. I was thinking about, you know.
I mean, you're not a makeup artist, so why would you be thinking about foundation and all of that? Even though sometimes, do you get to blush?
Well, we painted some places red.
Even though you were wearing black, I can see that you're now ready for this.
Wow.
All right, so let's taper it down. There's a few more minutes of conversation, and then we're going to do like a game.
Okay.
Do you like to play games?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite competitive.
Come on, but I don't think you're a playboy.
Nah.
Right. So let's go. What's Salem's message, right? What's your message? Let's say, like, you know, because the thing about this podcast is it's going places. It's going to enter into spaces. It's ridiculous, well, positively ridiculous, where white people has gotten into different places, like just differently, like some of the top people in different fields across the world, right, have seen it. And I've gotten screenshots from some WhatsApp groups. I'm like, this person's name, you know, very interesting. So I know that the podcast also go into different places, right? So what's your message? What do you want the world to know? What do you want to share with the world?
That's a long list. That's a very long list, but I'll just pick one, which is something we haven't talked about up to this point, but I'm very passionate about community.
Yeah, that's true.
And communities in general. So I guess I would just tell everyone that you need people, you know, and sometimes social media is not the safe space you think it is. You know, you need a circle, you need a support system. We were not designed to go through life by ourselves. One of the biggest lessons I've learned from creating content and being a social media influencer is how much people need people, right? And sometimes I wish every influencer understood this, because like I see the kind of things people come to talk to me about, and in my mind I'm like, don't you have friends? Don't you have a family? But I mean, I still offer that support and empathy and all of that, but I now understand more than ever. So everybody who's in a position of leadership or anyone who's in a position of authority of any kind who's listening to this, make sure that you're creating an environment that fosters community. And in our generation, that's something that's a little bit lost. You know, we make fun of the things our parents used to do, you know, like stuff like village meeting or, you know, all those things. Those things were very, very strong support systems. They really used to look out for each other, you know. So that's something we're taking for granted now. There's such an individualistic culture and everything where it's like nobody can tell you what to do. You're the owner you're the captain of your soul, you know, and all of that. Now we need to think about, you know, how important community is a survival need. It's true. You know, it's not just this nice to have. So wherever you are, make sure that you find a community. Make sure that you're joining a community. And if you're a leader, if you are a creator, if you're a business person, whatever it is you do, make sure that you're thinking about how to make sure that whatever systems you're building are creating room for community, because humans need that to survive.
That's right. That's just got me emotional right now. Community! Talking about community, join our community. We have a number of communities that can really help. We're building this White People Wisdom movement, so global thing. We have Genius X, which is really for creatives who want to transform the world with their ideas and their brilliance and their content and all the good stuff. We have Global Greatness, our community for personal growth and business growth. So all that good stuff. And then Salem has a community as well. Yeah. Because I see that sometimes you have some pop-up house parties and stuff like that. So check that out and you just be inspired by or surprised at the opportunities that exist beyond social media. I was at a creativity conference last week, and this guy who's doing, I don't know how many tens of millions that his brand is doing, he was asked a question about social media. And it's like, see, if you go to my social media page, you don't have a lot of people there. So the point I'm trying to make is social media is powerful as a tool, but there are so many things beyond social media, right, that can really, really help. Thank you so much, Salem, for being a part of this. Let me ask you, what do you think about White People Wisdom?
I love how that you listen. That's something that stood out to me in the past 1 hour, because I've watched you teach a lot. I follow your social media. I've seen, first time I saw you teach was in 2018. You came to my church in Abuja. It was Good Tidings Bible Church. It was a youth.
Were you there?
I was.
Were you there?
I was in the youth ministry as some random guy in the crowd. So like way back. So I love that, you know, I know you have a lot to say.
How do you know?
It's you now. How many posts? You know, I was showing my girlfriend the other day that, you know, Peter's lost his account. His post has crossed 1,000. How many times is this guy posting in a day? Like, my entire content creation career, I've not hit 1,000 posts.
Are you serious?
For real. And I'm an influencer. It's my job. You know, so I find it fascinating. So definitely, I know you have a lot to say. So being in this position where you ask people questions and you listen to them, not just because they're saying things you don't know, a lot of it you already know, but I know, it's the humility. Although you're not quite humble about your puns, but like,
I'm proud of puns. They call me Pops, P-O-P.
So you see what I was talking about? It's jumping out. You couldn't even wait. But yeah, that's something that I appreciate about the podcast so far.
Wow, great stuff. Thank you so much for being a part of it. You know, for believing in this, like it's the first season, and you said, wow, I've got some seasoning to add to the season.
Yeah, I got sauce.
Hey! Come on. Don't pepper them, even though it's right on time.
Oh my gosh.
All right, guys, I hope that you're having a great time. Hope you loved this. Please tell people about it. Share this. Make it go wild for all the right reasons. Thanks for being a part of it. Follow us on all our social media handles, and let's just grow this thing and make it massive. But beyond that, you know that every post is giving some of the light encouragement, support, guidance. And I discovered something that, a burst of wisdom can save somebody a lifetime of trauma.
Definitely.
Because, mental health, all those things that are core issues right now.
Mm-hmm.
When you go through many of the stories, you're going to discover that, oh wow, if this person knew better 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago,
would have fewer regrets.
Much better. So thank you so much, Salem, for being a part of this.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored.
I love creating content because I believe it's one of the ways to immortalize yourself and your message. Right? I have books in my library that written by people that died 50 years ago, 100 years ago. And somebody's going to watch this, 200 years from now, and then the metaverse, the ultra hyper mega metaverse, the universe, when people don't use emojis again, like people don't like to talk a lot these days. Like you send a long text, people just put like in that age, like 200 years from now.
Who knows? I mean,
they won't be talking, like just make a gesture. Like, I think it's a good word. Anyway, it's time for our game. But before we play the game, pay attention to your screens for some important announcements. All right, people, welcome back to WhitePaperPodcast, where we share wisdom in a warm and witty way so that you can enjoy your life and deliver more results, get by into the high places that you really desire without feeling like you're listening to a university professor, right? You just absorb the wisdom, enjoy it, relish it. Well, that's getting weird. Yeah, but you get the point. Now, we're going to be playing a game, or two games, even though we're not playboys, right? But you can call us ballers, right? Because we're both keepers. So we're going to be playing two games. The first game is fill in the blanks. So it's going to be based on white paper posts that I've already done. I'm hoping they're not the ones that you've read. Right. So you're supposed to use your creativity, your wit, your intelligence to fill in the missing words. All words, as the case may be. Are we ready? So that's not the writing one. This one is, you just tell us where it is. That's the writing one. So let me make it simple. Side chicks. No, that one, I think that was on the screen.
You've already started. Just continue.
Have you said it?
I can't see the screen. I'm too close.
Okay. Side chicks are like dash. You have to constantly keep them under wraps for fear of being caught. Side chicks are like dash. You have to constantly keep them under wraps for fear of being caught.
Side chicks are like moi moi. Did I get you right?
It's good.
I mean, you have to keep my money under wraps.
That's good, though. Because, I mean, side chicks are also human beings, and you can turn beans to moi moi. Do you get?
So basically, I've improved on, even the real answer. Yeah.
Sure. That's what I hear. But give it another go.
Side chicks, what do you have to keep
for
on
fear
that?
of being caught, because more and more you don't have to be caught now, except you're at least living with people that love food. So it's something sort of like illegal. You have to keep under wraps for fear of being caught.
Side chicks are like drugs.
Hey! Side chicks are like hard drugs. That's good. Good thinking. Good thinking.
Thank you.
Right, because I once did a post and I said, if a pharmacist is held up in traffic, what do you call that? Drug trafficking. All right. Now let me give you another one so that you can prove that it's not fluke. Leadership is like Lekki. It comes in dash. It has different lanes, often with heavy traffic, some toll gates, and some floods. Leadership is like Lekki. It comes in dash. It has different lanes, often with heavy traffic, some toll gates, and some floods.
Leadership is like Lekki. It comes with flood.
No, but is the sound. The word is it comes in.
Leadership is like Lekki.
Yes. So you're going to Lekki, say Lekki. I don't want to give it away.
It's not coming to me.
But you get it, but you go get it. So Lekki has different, what would you call them?
Phases.
Yeah!
Oh, that took me a minute. Oh.
No. You got it. When she was like, Lekki, it comes in phases, right? Good stuff.
That makes sense.
So now, the last game we're playing, you're just going to you're going to create a white paper, but it's usually like health landscape. You're going to write your own original white paper quote.
Okay.
It is but we're going to give you 2 keywords. So you have a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Right, 2 keywords. Whatever you write must contain Salem and content.
Oh, okay.
Right? And it has to be witty and fun and nice.
Okay.
So,
Can I go?
yes, you can.
How much time do I have?
1 minute.
Who? Why did I ask? I feel like I should have asked you.
All right, so your time started. Don't worry, if we go beyond 1 minute, it's all right. We just put the time in the right.
Yeah, I'm not P-Dam, so.
This is the whole, if I have 10 days to cut a tree, I'll use 9 days to sharpen the saw.
You know the vibe. It's not the hand that is doing the writing, it's the mind.
It's interesting about white people. So sometimes I write different. I have a bank of different things that come right. But sometimes I want to write, I'm literally like this.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking and person trying to get the words in the right rhythm and sequence. And
so you have to rewrite them a couple of times. But this one, anyone I read now,
that's the permanent.
it's even permanent marker. This is so lame.
Guess what?
Is
it?
it?
You might think it's lame, but then it might just fly.
Oh my god.
All right. So let's see what you got.
Can I turn it?
Yes, but you can read it first and then.
Okay, you guys, since you have been quizzing me, I'm going to quiz you.
That's good.
Why did they describe Salem as the grateful creator?
As the grateful creator.
Yeah.
Oh, because it was always content. Hey. Good stuff. Come on.
I'm supposed to take over your page.
We can do a big takeover. Come on, that's good stuff. I really love it. That's
thank you.
Like you really took your time too.
I did. I sharpened the axe. I didn't succumb to pressure, societal pressure.
Come on.
Right now.
Good stuff. So guys, thank you so much for being a part of this. I hope you've enjoyed as much as we've enjoyed it. Selma, I want to thank you personally, not only for today. I thank you for today, but also for the work that you do. power that you've put out there in terms of light, energy, vibes, but also sense and wisdom. 5-10 years from now, people are going to be like, oh, you saved me from getting the wrong relationship or blowing all my money or dying of envy. You're going to run to people. I'm sure it's already happening anyway, but at airports and all over the world. Thank you for the work that you do. A generation is grateful.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for being a part of the very first season of White Paper Podcast. So guys, don't keep this to yourself. Keep sharing, keep connecting, keep engaging the posts and the streams and the downloads and all of that. Let's ensure that we make this big, not for the sake of big, but when something is good, don't apologize if it becomes big. But don't apologize because you're trying to make it big, because you know it's good. So more people need to be a part of it. Leave a comment somewhere around the platform where you are listening to this and let's know how this was. And stay tuned for the very next episode of White Paper Podcast with Wit and Wisdom. My name is Damilola Oluwatoyinbo. I'm the creator of White Paper Wisdom, White Paper Merch, White Paper, White Nights, White everything white. And all that you do, stay wise up, and let's make wisdom viral. Talk to you soon.